Africa has recorded its first deaths from coronavirus after a slow start. The case tally has more than tripled in the space of a week. Countries have reacted with stringent restrictions from flight bans to school closures, while Rwanda went even further to order a general lockdown. This report looks at some of the effects of the virus on the continent.
Ranking politician in Burkina Faso has been the first person in sub-Saharan Africa to die from the coronavirus. 62-year-old diabetic Rosemary Compaore was a lawmaker for the country's main opposition party and the first vice president of parliament. The continent's been spared the worst in the pandemic, with under 1,000 cases so far. Africa is well versed in reacting to outbreaks, but experts warn that poor health services, poverty and conflict could hamper its response. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has said to prepare for the worst.
In other countries, we have seen how the virus actually accelerates after a certain tipping point. So the best advice for Africa is to prepare for the worst and prepare today.
On the ground in Africa, its impact is widely felt.
The virus has affected business globally. Here in Kenya, it has affected business. As you can see, our streets, things are not running as normal.
Being in Namibia, I just think we should take more precautions about being healthy and all that. In the past, we never used to wash our hands. I wash my hands 20 times a day or so.
It's really crippled our industry, our ability to move forward. Even in Italy, because I was also restocking there.
People don't really have that much money, and I don't think people will want to spend that much money on getting tested. I don't think it's a first priority for a lot of South Africans.
Travel restrictions disrupted air travel across the continent. Departure terminals have been crammed with people wanting to get home before bans took effect. Near-empty aeroplanes and then abandoned terminals upon arrival in Europe have also been commonplace. Meanwhile, those travelling through airports, like the major hub of Ethiopia's Addis Ababa, have been subject to temperature checks. Looking at smaller-scale effects, everyday routines have been stopped. In the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, classrooms are empty and lecture halls closed. In Nairobi, health workers have begun fumigating potential hotspots in a bid to slow the spread of the virus. And in the markets of Gabon, the sale of pangolin, small creatures also known as scaly anteaters, have plunged as researchers suspect the animal originally transmitted the COVID-19 disease to humans. Pangolin is a traditional delicacy across Southeast Asia and one of the world's most trafficked animals. Finally, the virus is present even in fashion. Veteran South African designer Gavin Raja used glittering gems to recreate surgical face masks on his models at Cape Town Fashion Week.
It's a new form of people that are coming out in the world who are going to be looked upon as victims of something.
He aims to highlight the potential division and racism that such masks could spur.